Welcome back to our listeners on BBC London and on BBC Essex. Now, we've come back a bit early. Play will get away again at 1:54. But we've got a guest. Don Topley has been trailing David Rizell.
Hello.
Known on his Twitter handle as @RumblePants, with a picture of a rather magnificent bearded figure, and I have to say the beard lives up to all the hype, David.
Thank you. Yes.
Have you always had the W.G. Grace beard?
Not. It's been something I've been working on probably for about 5 years. It would come and go. I'd shave, in September, and then it would grow back over the winter, and now I've just given up shaving, and it's a permanent addition. My wife's not terribly keen, but it's become a bit of a permanent fixture now.
Well, and it on Twitter in particular, which is the medium through which I know you, it is a very welcome addition. So I'm sorry, Mrs. Rizell, you're going to be stuck with it, basically, aren't you? Now, it was interesting. You have a big cricketing presence online, and I was assuming that cricket had been your life, but it's not a recent thing, but it came slightly later.
No, it's my life now, but I only really got into cricket about 10 years ago. It was always on in the background when I was a kid growing up, and my dad listened to Test Match Special, and you'd come home from school, and if you turn on BBC Two, you'd find the cricket. But we didn't play a great deal at my school. It would be 1 or 2 weeks, and then we'd move on to athletics. And it got to 2013, and the Ashes were happening that summer here. And I thought, I really must understand cricket this year. And I've always liked the aesthetics of it, the players in white under the blue sky on the green grass. So that year, I came and did the Tour of Lords, and then on a whim, I got some tickets for the New Zealand Test, and lucky enough to see Jimmy Anderson get his 300th wicket. And that was sort of it, and then I was in it, and I just love the whole ambience of it, the writing, particularly of cricket. I mean, it seems to inspire so many creative endeavours, not least me. And I've sort of been in it up to my eyeballs since, and then got involved in my local club, and now my kids play. So, yes, I am a cricket tragic now.
We'll come back to the tragedy of cricket in a moment, but you mentioned the aesthetic of the game and the fact that the green, the blue, the white, and the general artistic side of things, given the writing, and we have former England player Jack Russell making as an artist, and that is the path you are now becoming well known for. And these are the pictures that were popping up on my Twitter account that at first I thought were photographs, but then looked more closely and realised they weren't. But they are hyper-realistic cricket portraits.
Yeah, and there's something I just do for relaxation. I do them on an iPad with Apple Pencil and work from reference photos, and it's how I spend my commute. And I just love the brain disengage when you're concentrating on creating something and capturing a likeness and getting the detail, particularly in my case, and I find it very therapeutic. And I'm very lucky because people have responded to them, and when I put them out into the world on Twitter with no expectation really, often they've found their way in front of the subjects. And I've had people like Marnus Labuschagne or Catherine Brunt have messaged me and expressed that they've been grateful, and Johnny Bairstow. So it's been really nice as a way to interact with players and other people that I've painted.
And other countries as well.
Yeah.
Because if you painted someone who was possibly due to get once you mentioned Virat Kohli, and it goes out on social media and it hits India.
Yeah.
But you got quite a reaction.
The Virat one was lovely in that, again, that found its way to him, and I got sent a photo of Virat holding his phone with my portrait on his phone, and the person that was there with him at the time, I said, thank you for showing that to Virat, not expecting that he'd actually be there. And I said, have you seen the recent one I finished with Johnny Bairstow? So I sent that. And he said, oh, yes, I've just shown that to Virat and his wife, and they really like it. So in a real time, I was...
Wow!
So that was fun. And then I did another one of Ravi Ashwin, and that was the one that really... people went a little bit crazy over that one in India, and got a lovely reaction. And then I found articles popping up on the Hindustan Times website about that painting. So again, completely unexpected, but very nice that people like them.
Now, obviously, you have a day job. It's a wonder. You work in the legal profession.
That's right.
Do you see that there could be a switch to more cricket and painting, or not give up the day job yet?
I won't give up the day job. I just do the painting because I really like doing it, and it's just opened nice avenues and allows me to interact with people in cricket that I admire. So no, I'm just happy to keep it as that at the moment.
Now, you also coach,
Yes.
and you and I have a club in common. Saffron Walden. I played for the Colts side years ago.
I'm lucky enough, privileged enough to help run the academy there, and that's really the most rewarding part of my week in the summer, going along on a Sunday morning and seeing 150 kids between the ages of 5 and 10 training at our club, and you just see these young players enjoying cricket, getting into the game, all chasing after the ball, having a lovely time, and the sense that you get of giving back to the game is just wonderful. And it's a well-run club, and we've got a lot of people coming through. It's a Premier League club, so I'm very grateful to be involved with it.
Well, Tom Helm is about to do some bowling, so we'll carry on talking in between deliveries as play resumes after lunch. 239 for 7. Helm is in, and that is an expansive, beautiful-looking drive from Critchley, who, having really played doughtily before lunch, making just 28 runs in the session, has now added 4 more to move to 32, take the score on to 243 for 7. Allison is 8 not out after he too hit his first ball for 4. But what have you made? I will talk to you about that in a minute, David, but in comes Helm again, and that is another drive. It's a thickish outside edge this time, but it's along the ground. It's gone backward of square, and it is 4 more. Are you a regular at Lord's, or is this a rare trip to...
This is an occasional treat. I spend most of my cricket watching time either at Saffron Walden or at the Oval. I've been a Surrey member for a couple of years, so and
Ricky Clark's got his thumbs up behind you.
And they've made me feel incredibly welcome there. So that's where you're likely to find me most often over the summer.
Well, and a blistering start for Critchley after his doughty defence this morning. 8 runs from the first 2 balls after lunch as Helm is in again, and this time we are back to the more familiar forward defensive from Critchley. And a match that's fascinatingly poised, David. Who would you have ahead on points at the moment?
I think you'd award the morning to Middlesex without a doubt, wouldn't you? And given where Essex started at the beginning of play, Toby Rowland-Jones in particular did what he needed to do, and I'd say Middlesex are in the driving seat at the moment.
As Tom Helm is in once again, he's taken one of the wickets to fall, and that is a glorious straight drive. That is shot of the day.
All the way down.
From Matt Critchley. It has screeched to the boundary just in front of us here at the nursery end in the media centre here, and that's 3 fours from the first 4 balls.
Yeah, you wonder what Critchley's been asked to do over lunch. He's shown some intent.
Or what he's had for lunch. Yes. So suddenly he has raced from 28 to 40. The score means that the 250 has now come up for Essex, which means they have a point under the new system. As Tom Helm is in once again. and that is allowed to go outside off stump. Simpson does the business because, yes, the change to the scoring point system for this season, it used to be 200. You'd get your first batting point. Now you have to get 250. So Essex are on the board for the 2023 season now with that point. And this has been an excellent effort from Critchley.
Yeah, doing his pretty good Ian Bell impression with some of those shots.
Absolutely. And but also holding things together as Toby Rowland-Jones was running riot at the other end. That is wide, it's short, and it's flicked away almost disdainfully for the fourth boundary of this over. So suddenly 16 runs have come. In that over, Critchley has moved or raced on to 44. The score has moved on to 255 for 7. Allison, who's yet to face a ball after lunch, is 8 not out. And David, just at the final change of overs, final thoughts. More art to come?
Yes, more art to come. I'm working on a portrait of Wayne Madsen at the moment, and that one's nearly finished, and then I'll have a bit of a think about who comes next. I think probably at the top of the list at the moment is Ben Foakes, player I very much admire, and very keen to see him continue in the England team throughout the summer, so I think he'll be next on my list.
Well, you would have enjoyed a conversation we had yesterday where there was a fairly solid school of opinion that Ben Foakes should continue to claim the gloves as far as England are concerned, as Toby Rowland-Jones is in once again. For those of you just joining us, Toby Rowland-Jones bowled beautifully this morning. He ended up taking 3 of the 4 wickets to fall. Means he now has 5 in this innings. This is his 26th over, and he has figures of 6 maidens, 5 for 60. And in the process, he also brought up his 500th first-class wicket with that 5th wicket to fall to Simon Harmer. And he is in again now, and that's allowed to pass outside off stump by Allison and go through to Simpson, the wicketkeeper, and there is no run. Now I know you have to leave today because you have a concert to go to.
My wife and my son are singing in an Easter service at Saffron Walden Church this evening, so I'm under strict instructions to be back in time so that I don't miss that. No, I'm looking forward to seeing them. It'll be lovely.
Well, that's a pretty good day, I have to say. 2 sessions at Lord's and then back for a concert of your own family in what is one of the big, glorious Northwest Essex churches. Well, David, we'll look out for you.
Yes,
I'm
pretty recognisable. You'll see me occasionally even doffing a WG Grace cap over the summer. The kids like that because if they sit next to me, it normally gets them on TV.
Oh, excellent.
So yeah, you'll no doubt spot me at some point.
I'm sure we shall.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolute pleasure. And as I say, if you're on Twitter, look out for @RumblePants for artwork, comments on cricket, and all other things to do with our very favourite sport. So David Rosell, thank you very much indeed for your time.